Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you for an album review. Officially, I'm starting up again album reviews because I didn't get a chance to do any album reviews last night because it was really late. It was like 11 or so when I got back home from work and running an errand. And yeah, this is for the Gaslight Anthems new album History Books that I got a chance to check out for myself to see what I was going to think of this new album of theirs. So I'm going to discuss what I listened to for Gaslight Anthem's new album History Book, or History Books I meant to say, and let you know my thoughts on their new album as a whole for 10 tracks and a 40-minute runtime. So let's dive into this album review. Now it starts with Spider Bites, and I wasn't sure if I was feeling for the vocalist's vocals in this track. I don't know, it sounded weird for a moment and a little like choked up a bit with his vocals and all that. Like, it sounds like he's having a hard time singing a bit. I don't know what it is, but still the song wasn't bad. The rest of the song played out pretty alright, and it progressed as the rest of the track went on. I just was trying to get used to his vocal pitch and all that. Just trying to get a feel for it a bit, see if I like it or not. So I think it's a good track in its own way. So 4.5 out of 5. History Books featuring Bruce Springsteen. This is a decent one. It's not my favorite, but it has some moments where I like it and moments where I found to be fairly decent, so 4 out of 5. And comes Autumn, and that's a decent track. I just think the folkiness for this one, I think they play around with this track a little too much to make it a little iffy, but it's alright for what it is, so 4 out of 5. I'm sorry for my yawning. I woke up a few hours ago, but I felt like I needed more sleep. Still, Michigan 1975 is or positive change I meant to say, and Michigan 1975 I will be talking about in just a second. Positive Charge I meant to say is a solid track. It's good in its own way. I'm sorry if I'm messing up a little bit on what tracks to talk about after the Autumn track. I just messed up with what I said. So 4.5 out of 5 for Positive Charge. Good track in its own way. Just the melody and the drum work sound pretty alright, and the lead singer's vocals sound pretty good. Let me know in the comment section below what his name is, because I haven't really followed this band in like a while. The only song I've heard from them was 59 Sound, and that was years ago. I think like 2009. Excuse my yawning. 2009, I think, is when it came out. So, yeah, 4.5 out of 5 for Positive Charge. Michigan 1975 has a really interesting lyrics to it that I really could feel for and be like, okay, the lyrics choices are pretty well done in this track. So lyrically, this album's pretty well done. Just has its hits and misses with some tracks. So 4.5 out of 5 for this one. Little Fires, I really enjoyed the drum work in this, but my biggest critique is how it slows down a bit when the verses come in, and it's like, okay, you were doing pretty well with the drum work. It was pretty fast paced, but you then slowed it down, and that's where I found it to be a good track, but not something I would come back to a lot. So 4.5 out of 5. The Weatherman is a solid track too. I like how the lead singer's singing this track, and his vocals and the lyric choices in this track are pretty well written and all that. It's a well written track in my opinion, and I really like this. So 4.5 out of 5. Empires is a solid track. It's pretty mellow paced, but it does get the job done for what it's going for. So 4.5 out of 5. It's not the worst song I've heard from this album, so it's one of the highlights. Then comes I Live in a Room Above Her, and that's a solid one too. It's good in its own way. I think the lead singer's vocals sound pretty alright for how the song is mixed, and just mostly the acoustic guitar work and just the way it sounds with the drum work and all that. It does pretty well. Sorry about the background noise. My nephew is throwing a temper tantrum. He's terrible to his things, so you know how it is. He's almost 3, so yeah. Pretty much 4.5 out of 5 for I Live in the Room Above Her. It's good track in its own way, just there's some moments where I like it and some moments where I'm iffy about it. And finally, we get to A Lifetime of Preludes. This one is a good track to close this album, so I like it for what it's going for, but there are some cringe moments throughout the track with how the lead singer's singing it from time to time, but still, overall, it's alright for what it goes for, so 4.5 out of 5. Overall, production, mixing, and execution-wise, I think the new, the Gaslight Anthem history books was a average album. It's not the worst thing I've heard. I think my least favorites would probably have to be History Books and Autumn. They were decent tracks, but not really my favorites. I know the title track, History Books, had something going for it, but Bruce Springsteen, in my opinion, I know he's a legend from in the music industry, but honestly, I never really was a fan of Bruce Springsteen, to be honest. I don't hate how he sings, but there are times where I'm like, he's not that great of a singer. So, in my opinion, I think Bruce Springsteen is a little overhyped, in my opinion. So, basically, History Books is a decent track. It's not the worst thing I've heard, but still, that and Autumn are the decent tracks. Everything else is pretty solid. I am saying my wording wrong, so please forgive me on that. So for a score for me, I'm giving the Gaslight Anthem's History Books album a 7.5 out of 10. Average album. Definitely check it out to see what you think of it for yourself. It's not a bad listen. It's as average as the new In This Moment album, God Mode. So pretty much 7.5 out of 10 for the Gaslight Anthem History Books for their new album. Thank you guys for watching this album review this morning, or this afternoon, I meant to say.